Not all Jeeps are built the same. Some will empty your wallet with constant repairs. Others will run past 200,000 miles with basic upkeep. Today, I'm ranking the 3 worst Jeep models to avoid and the 4 best to own, so you buy the badge without the regret. Worst number 3, Jeep Wrangler. You buy this car because you have a movie scene playing in your head. Top down, sunset, total freedom. But that dream usually dies the moment you see your first repair bill. Most people treat the Wrangler like it's a member of the family, but if you actually look at the math, it's an abusive relationship that drains $694 every single year from your bank account. That number is sitting way higher than what you'd pay for a normal SUV, and the problem isn't just the money, it's the constant nagging feeling that something is about to snap. We are talking about tires that wear out weirdly fast, suspension bits that start rattling after a few trails, and random electrical gremlins that steal your weekends. The Jeep lifestyle sounds cool on Instagram, but in reality, it often feels like a part-time job managing a machine that refuses to stay fixed. And that is just the financial pain. The safety situation is where it gets genuinely scary. In late 2024, the government had to step in with a frantic consumer alert for the hybrid 4xe models, literally telling owners to park outside and away from their homes because of fire risks. Just sit with that for a second. You spend $50,000 or $60,000 on a rugged adventure vehicle, and then you get told you can't park it in your own garage because it might burn your house down while you sleep. That is a level of ownership anxiety that never makes it into the Super Bowl commercials. It actually gets worse if you try to save money by buying an older model. The Takata airbag nightmare is still haunting this platform, with a do not drive warning issued in 2026 for 225,000 older vehicles. We aren't talking about a broken radio here. We are talking about a recall linked to actual fatalities, which turns your daily commute into a legitimate game of Russian roulette. You can love the heritage and the waves, but you have to admit that driving a Wrangler often feels like managing a ticking time bomb. But if you think the Wrangler is a headache, wait until you see what happens when you spend 6 figures on a luxury Jeep that literally falls apart on the highway. If this reality check is saving your wallet right now, show us some love. Smash that subscribe button and drop a like so we can keep exposing the truth about these cars. Worst number 2, Jeep Wagoneer/Grand Wagoneer. This truck was supposed to be the American answer to the Range Rover, but it turned out to be a masterclass in how to launch a production disaster. When you sign the paperwork for a vehicle that costs as much as a small house, you assume the build quality is going to be bulletproof, but the Wagoneer barely holds itself together. Jeep had to recall a staggering 123,396 units recently because the exterior trim, the literal pieces of the body, can fly off while you are driving. This isn't a complex engine failure. This is basic glue and clips failing on a flagship truck, creating a road hazard for everyone behind you. Think about the absurdity of driving a 6-figure status symbol and having to check your rearview mirror to see if your car is disintegrating in the wind. That kind of sloppy manufacturing hints at a much deeper culture problem at the factory. Investigation reports trace this specific failure back to a production error where primer was missing during assembly, leading to over 1,700 warranty claims for the exact same issue. That number is terrifying because it means you aren't just unlucky if this happens to you. You are part of a systemic failure. You end up driving a luxury SUV while constantly listening for wind noise or rattling panels, turning your premium experience into a game of what falls off next. Now, you might want to run to the smaller, cheaper Cherokee to save money, but that is exactly where the worst transmission in modern history is waiting to trap you. Worst number 1, Jeep Cherokee. This looks like the sensible, safe choice for a small family, but underneath the hood sits a drivetrain that has caused more meltdowns than almost any other modern vehicle. If you want to see a mechanic roll their eyes and sigh, just ask them about the 2015 Cherokee's transmission. Car Complaints has logged over 432 specific complaints about the gearbox alone, a number that completely dwarfs what you see with reliable competitors like the RAV4 or CRV. But user reviews are just noise until you see the official data, which lists a mind-bending 925 technical service bulletins for a single model year. TSBs are basically secret cheat sheets for mechanics to fix common problems, and when a car has nearly 1,000 of them, you know it was released before it was finished. The driving experience can be genuinely terrifying. We aren't just talking about a rough ride. We are talking about delayed shifting, where you press the gas to merge into traffic, and the car just thinks about it for 2 seconds while a semi-truck barrels toward you. Owners report RPM spikes, random hesitations, and the dreaded service transmission light popping up weeks after the warranty expires. It leaves you with a pit in your stomach every time the car shifts, wondering if this is the moment it finally gives up and leaves you stranded. And the financial hit is sneaky because it bleeds you dry slowly. While the average repair cost sits around $520 a year, that average is dragged down by minor fixes, hiding the fact that a full transmission replacement will cost you thousands out of pocket. It is a financial time bomb ticking away in your driveway. If you are looking at a used one, you have to treat any weird shift as a deal breaker, or better yet, just walk away entirely. Because believe it or not, there is a weird little Jeep that people make fun of, but it is quietly more reliable than almost anything else on the lot. Best number 4, Jeep Renegade. People love to hate this thing because it looks like a toaster, but it quietly shuts everyone up by simply not breaking down. The disconnect between the hardcore Jeep reputation and actual reliability data is massive here. While the big Wranglers are stuck in the shop getting new differentials, this little box earns a solid 4.0 out of 5.0 reliability rating from RepairPal. It sits comfortably as the 4th most reliable subcompact SUV, proving that stripping away the heavy-duty off-road hardware actually makes for a better daily driver. You stop worrying about death wobble or leaking axles and start enjoying a car that just starts every morning without drama. The ownership costs reflect this simplicity perfectly. You are looking at an average annual repair bill of just $498, which is pocket change compared to the bigger trucks in the lineup. But the real stat that matters is the frequency of unexpected trouble. Owners average only 0.2 unscheduled shop visits per year. That means you are spending your Saturdays living your life instead of drinking stale coffee in a dealership waiting room while a service advisor types up a bill. It manages to keep the repair severity low too. Only 9% of repairs are considered severe, meaning when something does break, it is usually a cheap sensor or a worn-out part rather than a catastrophic engine failure. You buy this for the easy parking and the decent cargo space, but you keep it because it refuses to die. It is the honest, unpretentious workhorse of the family that gets zero credit, but does all the heavy lifting while the cool Jeeps are getting fixed. But maybe you want something that looks a little less like a cartoon character, which leads us to the most boringly reliable option they build. Best number 3, Jeep Compass. This is the car everyone ignores on the rental lot, but that boredom is exactly why it is one of the smartest buys you can make right now. The Compass doesn't try to be a rock crawler or a luxury liner. It just focuses on being a functional SUV, and it succeeds where the expensive models fail. RepairPal ranks it 11th out of 26 in the extremely competitive compact SUV segment, giving it a strong 4.0 reliability score. In a world where Jeeps are known for personality flaws, the Compass stands out by having almost none, which is exactly what you want when you are just trying to get to work. It protects your wallet by staying strictly average in the best way possible. Annual repair costs hover around $526, which is right in line with the industry standard, so you never get that luxury tax shock when you go in for service. But the secret weapon here is consistency. Just like the Renegade, owners see the mechanic for unscheduled issues only about 0.2 times a year. That is significantly better than the broader market average, meaning this car respects your time. You get the badge without the drama. It offers the winter capability you want and the styling that fits in at the office, but it drives like a normal car rather than a tractor. The probability of a severe repair sits at just 11%, so you aren't living in fear of the engine blowing up at 60,000 miles. It is the choice for the person who wants the Jeep vibe, but has absolutely no interest in learning how to fix a suspension linkage in their driveway on a Sunday. Now, if you want something that is actually cool but still makes logical sense, we have to talk about the mullet of the truck world. Best number 2, Jeep Gladiator. You might look at this and see a midlife crisis toy, but it is actually the most versatile tool Jeep has ever built. The genius of the Gladiator is that it cheats the system. It gives you the open-air experience and the off-road credibility of a Wrangler, but it adds a 5-foot truck bed that completely changes the ownership equation. Suddenly, you aren't just driving a fun car. You are driving a utility vehicle that can haul lumber, dirt bikes, or messy camping gear without ruining your interior. It replaces the need for owning a separate pickup and a weekend cruiser, solving two problems with one payment. Now, you have to be real about modern tech issues. There was a recall recently regarding the instrument panel cluster, proving that it shares the same electronic DNA as the rest of the modern lineup. You can't just ignore warning lights, and you need to stay on top of software updates. But unlike the catastrophic mechanical failures of the Cherokee, these are usually manageable annoyances rather than car killers. It rewards the owner who treats it like a machine rather than a decoration. The maintenance is surprisingly predictable. RepairPal data shows that standard jobs like alignments and brake work are priced normally, avoiding the specialized labor costs you get with foreign trucks. You are buying into a massive ecosystem of parts and knowledge, which keeps long-term ownership costs under control. It gives you massive daily value for every dollar you spend on gas because you can actually use it for work, not just for posing. But if you want the absolute king of longevity, the one that will likely outlive your desire to drive it, there is really only one answer. Best number 1, Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is the platform where Jeep finally figured out how to balance ruggedness with a car that doesn't punish you for driving it. The data on the Grand Cherokee is genuinely impressive, with IC Cars analysis pegging the average lifespan at roughly 141,455 miles. That is a serious number that proves this isn't just a lease special, it is built to handle a decade of abuse. It is the adult in the room, offering a stable highway ride and legitimate comfort without sacrificing the ground clearance that makes a Jeep a Jeep. You aren't bouncing around the cabin every time you hit a pothole, you are gliding over it. But the real stat that should seal the deal is the long game potential. There is a 12.2% chance that this SUV will hit 200,000 miles, which puts it well ahead of many safe competitors. We are talking about a heavy, complex 4x4 that has driven an average of 12,000 miles a year, and it still refuses to quit. It survives family road trips, towing duties, and winter salt, and it keeps coming back for more. The key to unlocking this longevity is simple but strict. You have to prioritize maintenance history, specifically watching the cooling system and fluid changes. If you buy a Grand Cherokee that was cared for, you aren't just buying a used car. You are buying a tank that will likely be running long after the monthly payments stop. It is the rare sweet spot where comfort, capability, and durability all intersect, making it the smartest money you can spend on the brand. So, you can either buy the dream that burns your wallet, or you can buy the truck that actually works. If you have a different ranking, let us know in the comments below. And if you're ready to discover more Jeep insights, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.